Grab you a cup of coffee, or in my case, since I already had 2 cups of coffee today, some hot apple cider. And today we are going to talk about what my 8th and 9th grade students are taking for animal science / zoology. Hey everyone, I am so excited for everybody who is new and has been watching all of the homeschool videos. I really hope that they're a huge encouragement. One of the main reasons why I started this channel was to help people who wanted to homeschool differently than just following either just a box curriculum, or like the extremes that I saw when I started homeschooling was like just box curriculum or just 100% freelance. And I kind of wanted to be somewhere in the middle with a little more lean this way, but not like completely over here. And if you're one of these people on either side, I 100% support you and will still help you if you have any questions on Rebecca of any of the grades that I've done, or if you want help writing your own curriculum, or like curriculum and lesson plans for doing this path over here. I can kind of help with both because I've been on both sides of the fence. Which, leaning more this way today, let's talk about animal science and zoology. Now, I don't have my phone in front of me and I'm not seeing it. The reason why I call it both animal science and zoology is, in the state of Tennessee, you are only required 3 science credits to graduate. And the 3 for college path are chemistry 101, or biology 101, chemistry 101, and physics 101, or biology, chemistry, and physics. So with those 3 in mind, you technically do not have to take a science course for 9th grade. Anything you do for science for 9th grade is actually an elective class. So what I was looking at was, at the time when we first started looking into zoology, and there's a little bit of a story time that's going to go along with this, is 2 of my kids had been interested in wanting to work as zookeepers, and so they wanted to get like a bachelor's in zoology so that they could work as zookeepers at zoos. But the more we started looking into this, and I'll go ahead and stop right here, any science videos you see from us are going to be from Christian perspective. So if you're not interested in that, this may not be the video for you. We do have other videos as well on like just literature, just math, and all that. But all of my science videos are 100% going to be from Christian perspective. If that's not for you, but you still want to see like a comparison of other things, totally understand. Not going to bash you. I'm just going to go ahead and be honest up front so that like you don't feel like I'm kind of fishing you into a video without being honest at the beginning. But let's talk about the zoology path. So when we first started looking at it, it was with the mindset that they were going to do zoology as their bachelor's degrees in college. Then when we actually started to build a zoology curriculum and start the year, and voice trying to give out after 4 or 5 videos is why I keep drinking hot drinks right now. When we first started 5 weeks ago, we started zoology, and the goal was, if you are interested in an evolution-based secular view of zoology, Crash Course has a free program. So it's a program that you would watch 1 video a week for 1 semester. Well, in homeschool high school and homeschool middle school, you take a class for the entire year. You don't have 1 class for 1 semester, 1 class for another. You can if like specific circumstances, but in Tennessee, they prefer you just do science for the full year, math for the full year. I mean, if your kids learn better doing it the public school way, where you have science 1 semester, math the next, and that way you're not doing both at the same time, go for it. That's your thing. I'm kind of fine with the year round because then it feels like they're not losing information grade by grade. And sorry, I'm kind of fidgety with my hair today because it's not working, like it's not doing what I want it to. And that's okay if like you want to do it that way. The way we follow the plan that they suggest, and we do year round for well, we don't, not everybody has to do year round. We do year round, and then our summer schedule is different, but we usually do a full year for each class. But when we started it, we noticed that it was extremely heavy on evolution. And from what we've done I immediately went into research on, okay, is every single zoology class, you have to start with evolution and then go from there? And the answer for most of them was yes. And there were very, 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 very few that started with creation. And so at this point, we're just kind of praying it over and taking a break. And we're just like, okay, what do we do? So the other thing that I had done was, on top of the crash course zoology, which I'm not going to use now, and I want to be open with you guys if I say I'm going to use something and then not. So we tried the crash course zoology. Because we're doing it from a Christian perspective, we decided not to. We stopped halfway through the second video, and we are not continuing with it. But I already told the umbrella school we were doing zoology or animal science. And let me explain that as well. In high school, the classes are called one thing. In middle school, they're called something else, but you basically, in my opinion, take the same classes in middle school as you do in high school. I know like some of you who teach middle and high school for like public school, it's different. But also when you look at homeschooling, it's not. So like, I know some of you are gonna be like, I teach it in high school and middle school and they're not the same. In public school or middle and homeschool, they're pretty much the same thing. Like American history is a little more dumbed down version of US history. Like you don't go into as much in depth as you do American history, where American history is more talking like the heroes of those specific things, and in US history is more about the actual concepts of why things happen. But like there's some differences, but basically you're still covering the same timeline of American history. So like for us, middle and high school, so my 8th grader and my 9th grader were both going to take zoology. One of them, it was called zoology, and the other one, it was called animal science. I think high school called it animal science. One of them was going to take ecology. The other one, we had to call it environmental science. So what we had decided to do was the fall semester we'll do the zoology, and then the spring semester we would do the ecology. So now we kind of felt like we were stuck. We're like, oh great. So I still wanted her to be able to do it because it was still going to be an elective course anyways. So we're praying through it and we're like, you know what, I don't know what to do. So at the same time, even though we were doing the crash course, I had already planned on year-round homeschooling with Misty Leask, had just put out a new series of animal worksheets. Let me see if I can name the 6 off the top of my head. There is, what did we start with? There was, no, I can't name them off the top of my head. Oh, there was rainforest, there was pond, there's ocean, African animals, polar animals, and forest animals, I think are the 6. And if you do school 3 days a week, like we do, like book work 3 days a week, you can do one animal each day for 3 weeks, change it over, and that lasts for 1 semester. And I think that's still for free on her website. If not, I still would pay for it because it's still a pretty good resource. So far we've liked it because each time, like you label the parts of the animal, you have to identify basic information about the animal, where it's from, some, I think, measurements on it. Some of the information we were able to find on Answers in Genesis, so that was pretty cool. But it's all just like basic worksheets. So at the point where we are in this little bit shorter video, because this is what we're doing, basically that's what we're doing, is we're going to be doing the year-round homeschooling Misty Leask worksheets. And because that's like, after we prayed about it, it was like, what do you want to do? And she's like, well, now I don't know if that's the right calling for me, because what happens if I get to college and they're like, no, you have to do this to do this degree, and they just refuse. And like, there are 16 Christian colleges in the United States who offer zoology degrees, but then she's still going to have to face that on an everyday basis of working in zoology. And that was not something that she wanted to do, and she was kind of feeling like she was being called to this other area anyways. It was still kind of sciencey, but more like nutritional science. So what we decided to do was to still make it an absolutely fun class for the 9th grader, and something to fill the 8th grader science slot is they're going to still go ahead and do zoology for the fall semester. And what we're going to be doing is they're going to do all the worksheets from your own homeschooling Misty Leask. It still requires research on specific animals, and I like that. And then once a week, once every other week, we're going to pull out some Answers in Genesis videos on zoology from Christian perspective. We've already watched one where he talks about the Bible word kind and teaches through, Ken Ham teaches through the Bible word kind, and how that started off the process of putting these animals into their specific categories. Some of the things that we've used to go along with this zoology as well for building our own zoology is Coloring Squared and Teaching Squared has worksheets you can print along the lines of Minecraft, Pokemon, Disney princesses, Fortnite. We don't do Fortnite, but it's there. Mario. And I printed out some alphabetical order worksheets for Pokemon, because they have Pokemon games. Matt and I played Pokemon for years. So like we do Pokemon like a lot, and you've seen us do like Pokemon week camp or at home camps during the summer of 2020. So like I had them print out those worksheets, and they had to put the Pokemon in alphabetical order. Then they had to put the what each one was, whether it was electric, rock, flying, whatever it was, on there. And then that way, like it's kind of like a visual of like teaching how animal classification works. Because fun fact, we found out through this process that one of the things that the devs at Pokemon did was they actually were inspired to do the storyline of Pokemon based on the life cycle of a butterfly. So that was kind of like a cool research to go with it as well. So we're kind of just like piecing it together as we go. We're doing Answers in Genesis videos to go along with it. And it just depends on what topic they're covering for that week of what they want to talk about. There are several specific topic videos on Answers in Genesis that we can go along with. Plus, also, for the rest of this semester, we have Zoo memberships. So if I feel like they need a little more hands-on to go with it, or to do like lab days, we can go on these field trips. And our zoo always has animal encounter activities every single day the zoo is open, and they have a schedule on their website of what you can see each time you go, and I could plan around what they're doing. So like they've already done the 3 weeks of rainforest, and now they're moving on to ponds. So now we can go and observe the sea otters, and they have like a sea otter chat at our zoo like one day every week, so we could schedule to go on one of those days. So yeah, that's kind of where we are, and that's kind of how we built together our own zoology. Whenever we couldn't really find a Christian zoology that was affordable. We found some that was in the $50 to $70 range, but by that time we'd already started our school year, and I really just didn't have the budget to invest in another second chance kind of curriculum, I guess is the way to put it. So we just decided to do our own and build our own. And like I said, we used Missy Lisa's Springboard. The link to that will be in the description box below, possibly in the cards if it will let me link it. And like I said, we also use Teaching Square, and I will link that as well below. I'm not going to do the ecology yet because it's going to be the spring, and I may wait until we've actually completed it to talk about how we did it, because it's also going to be a little more freelance and a little more unschooling way of teaching than we've ever done science before. But that's it for this video, you guys. Thank you to all our members for supporting this content and allowing us to continue making videos. Thank you to every single one of you who like, watch, positive comments, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.